joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimping and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and to spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for fun. They mash for hours, hooker baths, not showers. Bright and early, down and dirty for the cash and power. They gotta get the cash, the towers, and reach it all to a pimp. In my position, I'm all but exempt. These bras not wimps, I'm like them renegade bitches. BFFs with tricks but never getting paid riches. Grenade bitches, they dynamite, blowing up on the pimpin' and missing when the time is right. But when they life gets strife, they see pimpin' shining bright, but they action is life without. Bitch, one strike, you out. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. See, that's the difference, nigga. The pimpin' mashing for these riches, nigga. Nothing like you master magician, niggas. Smoking mirrors with your game, hella extras to reflect the opposite appearance of a lame. Bitches coming from y'all, I can't rock with those. Tender-footed and rooted in them doctor shows. Soft shoe rituals, minute residuals. Papers on life support, your loots and critical. Something I learned about when running my earn route and working with turnouts is murdering burnouts. Cause knocking one of you niggas for a scarred bitch, that's knocking one of you niggas for some garbage. I'm heartless regardless, empty with sympathy, but banked up to the max with pimpathy. No remedy for me, I'm like this. My life is vice grip, synced in permanent ink. You can't rewrite this. My blood type is P positive, beautifully deposited with a lot of it. I'm popping this shit, and when I pop it so hard I make a trapping ass bad bitch wanna hoe hard. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. Come on, pimpin', man, pop that shit. Show these sucker niggas they can't stop that shit. Let these hookers know if they wanna cop that shit. Treat the bag like it's hot, bitch, and drop that shit. And to you hoes, if you ever took a loss, bitch, show these bitches how to bounce back like a boss, bitch. Let them know that the best way to floss, bitch, is reach that paper to some pimpin' hoe and toss it. Can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Poppin' pimpin', nigga, can't stop, won't stop. Smashing on these bitches, nigga. One of them joints right here, man, that you play when you feeling down on your ism, right? Play this shit right here and resuscitate your pimpin' and get you right back on your mission, right? For you hoes, this that shit you play when you ain't feeling like super hoe today. Play this shit right here and to spark up your hoeing and get you right back going, you dig? Dig this. Pimps for real, don't mistake it for fashion. The turf that birthed my reputation for mashing was the track with active, attractive hoes. Professional goers that attract the dough. Like magnets to metal, never settle. We scorching them fag bitches pedal for them portions. My whores win it all. Not the ones on the sideline wishing but didn't ball in the guidelines. My bitches did it all. Down 7 below in the snow for dough. Over 120 in the sun for fun. The game is here. Top of it. Let's get into this shit, man. Y'all already know the ordeal when you get inside of a pimp's domain. Wipe your feet off at the door when you step into a pimp's domain. Hit that like button, man. The game is here. Let's get into it, man. Y'all already know my first order of business. I got to put some love in my body, man. Some of this good old H to the Izzo. This shit that love a pimp unconditionally. And it love you unconditionally too. No matter what you do, water gonna love your ass. If you neglect water, it's gonna love your ass. If you disrespect water, it's gonna still love your ass. But it's best to embrace water, man, because it's gonna love your ass. Yeah, man, I was reading some comments and listening to, replaying stuff and things like that. And it just brought some things to mind, man. And it made me look at my perspective on things versus the perspectives of other people that claim to be experts and, wizards and geniuses and shit when it come to, dealing with ladies or meeting ladies or, having your way with ladies and so on and so forth. So I figured it's only right if I, give my little dose of shit. You dig? Hey, listen, man. See, last night I was touching on terminology, right? And one of the weirdest, funniest terms to me is the term cold approaching, right? And I don't know if I really broke it down as thoroughly as I could as far as why that term is so funny to me, right? So for those of y'all unfamiliar with the term cold approach, basically that's when you approach a girl in public somewhere, or in person somewhere, I should say. You approach a woman in person, and this is a woman that you don't know, that you've never met before, that you haven't had a conversation before with. You don't have any experience with this woman, but you approach her because you're interested in her, right? Now, I know a lot of from what I gather, right? I don't know everything about everybody, but this is just my assessment of things, right? So I guess the whole cold approach idea is discouraged by a lot of dating coaches. On one hand, you have some that discourage it, and then I guess on the other hand, you have some that might encourage it. But for the ones who encourage it, the cold approach has to go along with choosing signals, which is some more nerd terminology that the nerds came up with who haven't put any of this stuff that they talk about to the test, right? But, I guess those who encourage cold approaching, couple it with choosing signals, meaning, if you are going to cold approach a woman in person, you should identify some sort of choosing signal from that woman before you cold approach her. And if you don't see a choosing signal, then you probably shouldn't cold approach her, maybe. I don't know. Y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but this is just, this ain't my world. That type of shit right there, because it's all theoretical, man, as far as I'm concerned. It's a bunch of theoretical shit that ain't been put to the test, and it's not coming from a place of experience, of wisdom, of, going through it to get to it, right? And see, now, coming from somebody like myself, right? I went through it to get to it. The things that I know are largely based upon experience. See, when it comes to dealing with women, I didn't read any books to teach me how to deal with women. I didn't watch any movies or attend any seminars to teach me about dealing with women. Now, it's not to say that you shouldn't do that, or it's not to discourage you from that, but, because if you get information from the right source, then you can have an advantage. You can have a head start on things, right? So, and it's never anything wrong with educating yourself as long as the education that you're receiving is valid. So, education is cool, right? Some of y'all might find education from this. My objective is more so to inspire you to be better than educate you. But, inadvertently, I might educate some of y'all. But this the thing, though, right? Like I said, the things that I know, I learn from experience. I learn from trial and error, right? And so the whole idea of cold approaching, the reason why it sounds so strange to somebody like myself is because that terminology, and this is just me, when you use the term cold approach, it says so much about the individual who's using that language, right? One thing that it says is that they have a fear, right? Whenever you use the term, whenever I hear the term cold approach, I hear fear. It's that's how I translate it. I translate it as fear. Reason why I say that is because, those who discourage cold approaching, I don't even like using this damn terminology, but I'm using it for y'all's sake because I know a lot of y'all listen to these guys, right? But those who discourage this shit, I'm gonna just say, approaching a woman, that you just laid your eyes on. I'm gonna talk like that. I might throw cold approach in there sometimes, but it feel weird coming off my tongue, man. But the guys who use that terminology, the reason why I say it comes from a place of fear, or I translate that terminology as fear, is because, when you use that type of terminology, it's basically communicating to anybody like myself who knows better and can separate game from lame that you have a fear of rejection from this woman. You're scared of this woman rejecting you, right? And see, introverts, nerds, which most nerds are naturally introverts. You have some nerds that ain't, it's very few. It's a select few, but the majority of nerds are introverted individuals, right? Meaning they don't really get outside much. They don't deal with people face to face much. They're not good at holding conversations. They sense of humor is, they socially awkward people for the most part. So somebody who's socially awkward, it's like a nightmare to them to approach a stranger and start a conversation, especially a woman that they find attractive, right? And see, like I said, it's a fear of rejection. And that fear of rejection comes from doubt. You doubt that you have what it takes to appeal to this woman, right? And, you magnify her interest to something bigger than what it is. You magnify her opinion or prospective opinion of you to something larger than what it needs to be, right? When you have that fear of rejection, it's like you think this chick is God in your mind, and if she rejects you, you're going to end up in hell, right? That's how I see that, that fear of rejection. And see, when you have a fear of rejection, what it also communicates to somebody like me is that you are a stranger to yourself as a man. You're unsure of yourself as a man. You don't know yourself. You haven't taken the time to learn yourself. And that's another reason why you have this fear of rejection from this woman, right? The unknown about her, you not knowing what she's thinking about you, you not knowing how she's going to receive you approaching her, you not knowing if she's going to shut you down, you not knowing if she's going to shut you down in a disrespectful way or a polite way, you not knowing if she's going to belittle you and make you feel real small when she rejects you, and you scared of all of those thoughts, right? And then at the same time, you don't know yourself, right? The reason why I say you don't know yourself is because your behavior is being dictated by something outside of yourself. Anytime you allow something to dictate your behavior that is outside of yourself, then that means you're unsure of yourself, right? You're not operating from a core base. You're operating from whatever's going on outside of you. So if what this chick got going on, if you intimidated by how she looks or how she sounds or the way she walk or the look on her face, and her demeanor and all of that, if you're intimidated by all of that and you're allowing that to dictate your behavior, then, you're somebody who's unsure of yourself, right? And if you don't identify this about yourself, there's no way that you can improve this, right? So I'm saying this to say there's a lot of guys out there that y'all listen to and take advice from who have these issues. There's a lot of guys that y'all listen to and take advice from who are unsure of themselves and are strangers to themselves and are intimidated by women, and allow that intimidation and that fear of rejection from a woman to dictate their behavior in dealing with the woman. So as you can see, if this person actually is in a real life situation, if they out and about somewhere, 9 times out of 10, they success rate is going to be on life support. You know what I mean? It's barely going to have a pulse, if any pulse at all, because they moving in fear and they're unsure of themselves and they're a stranger to themselves. So if you're a stranger to yourself and you don't know yourself, you don't know what to say. You don't know what to do, right? And see, now let me tell you about somebody who's sure of themselves, right? Of course, somebody who's sure of themselves, is not a stranger to themselves because they've taken the time to learn themselves, right? And somebody who's not a stranger to themselves and is sure of themselves as a man, has experienced a lot of failures and a lot of rejection to the point where they're in tune when it comes to rejection, and therefore they know that there's nothing to fear about rejection. Hey, listen, man, if the chick rejects you, it ain't gonna kill you. If the chick rejects you, it's not gonna break a bone in your body. If the chick rejects you, it's not going to make you get fired from your job. If the chick rejects you, it's not going to make all of your family members call you and tell you they don't love you no more. If the chick rejects you, it's not going to make your dog run away from home. If the chick rejects you, it's not going to have any effect on your life. It's not going to make things worse for your life, right? And it should make you better. See, anybody who's been in sales, shout out to the people that have sales experience. You know what I'm talking about. When you are a salesperson, that's one thing you're going to have to come to grips with quick, is being able to get over your fear of rejection if you have one. But whatever the case, that you can't fear rejection as a salesperson because you're going to go through a lot of rejection. And another thing about a salesperson, people that have experience in sales, is that they know that the more rejections they receive, the better they get, because you're experiment with different approaches. You experiment with different responses to different things. You know, once you receive so much rejection, it's kind of like research, you know, and then you get to the point where it's like, okay, if somebody responds to this approach like that, then I'm gonna counteract it with this. If somebody rejects me this way, I'm gonna counteract it with that. You know what I mean? If they say these particular words, I'm going to respond with these particular words, so on and so forth, because these particular words mean this, these particular words mean that, you know, so I know how I'm going to respond. Right? And see, that's how you develop charisma. That's how you develop people skills as a salesperson, right? So, you know, I would imagine, as I think about it, that any guy that has experience with sales is probably going to most likely also be, you know, successful when it comes to dealing with women, when it comes to approaching women, meeting women for the first time, you know, maintaining women, and so on and so forth. Right. So yeah, man, you can't fear rejection. And like I said, somebody that's sure of themselves, they understand that they're going to get better with every time they get rejected. You know, as the pimping in the game, when it comes to the pimping, you know, I say a pimp get greater with every hoe that blow. The pimping gets greater with every 304 that blows, because, you know, when one blows, it's going to make you better in dealing with the next one, because the experience that you have from that one that blew. And for those of y'all who don't understand that terminology, it means, you know, leave, part ways, you know. So the pimping understands that, you know, when a chick parts ways, you have experience. You have a wealth of experience and knowledge that come from that, from your dealings with that woman. And you can use that to be better moving forward with the next woman or women. Right. So on that same token, you know, if you a guy and you out, you know, you might be on the strip or wherever the nightlife is in your town, and, you know, you talk to a woman and you approach her a certain type of way, and she responds to that approach, you know, with a rejection. You know, it's teaching you something, or at least it should. Right. And you thinking about different ways, you know, it should teach you things about the psychology of a woman. It should teach you things about, you know, how to get cooperation, or, you know, if you analyzing yourself and you analyzing, you know, how this experience went, and you trying to be better from it. You dig? It should teach you something. Joe Blast, good looking with the $5 holler. Respect and gratitude, Freeze. I appreciate you, Joe Blast. Good looking. You dig? But yeah, man. So that's why, you know, somebody like the pimping is perfect when it comes to this type of information and this type of knowledge, because, hey, man, as a pimp, you're going to experience way more rejection than you do exception or acceptance. You know what I mean? You're going to experience way more rejection than you do acceptance as the pimping. Right? And so, you know, in the game, we get over that fear of rejection quick, if it's ever there in the first place. You know, we get over that quick, you know, because as the pimping, you might talk to 100 chicks in one night. Like literally. It's times where that happens, you know, within a 24-hour period. You might holler at 100 different chicks, and they all might say no. They all might reject you. But naturally, you're going to get better with that. You know, it's like fighting. whether it's boxing or MMA or whatever the case may be. You know, that first time sparring with somebody, you might get knocked upside the head every few seconds, right? But as you continue to spar, you learn how to anticipate certain things and how to respond to those things that you anticipate. So it makes you better. And then you know when to strike and you know, pay attention and, you know, recognize the right time to strike. Okay, they open right here. Let me get them. You dig? I'm gonna loosen them up with this one, and then I'm gonna smash them with this one, and then I'm gonna finish them with that one. You dig? So, you know, like I said, people who use terminology like cold approach and choosing signals and all this sort of type of shit, man. Hey, those is people that, you know, they not coming from a place of experience. You know, because guys who do have experience, guys who have approached women and been successful and you know what they doing, don't even use that kind of language, because those type of thoughts don't even come into their head. You know, cold approaching and choosing signals, that shit come from, you know, like I said, nerds that are introverted and, you know, don't really go outside and talk to people much, let alone women, right? That's what that is. Let me put some love in my body real quick. I need some more of this good old love, man. This is another reason why the terminology choosing signals is so, you know, strange to anybody who has a way with ladies, right? Because, you know, if you're going out and the frequency at which you approach ladies, how often you approach ladies, is predicated on whether or not they giving you a choosing signal. That's as if to say that, you know, your approaching ladies is based on what you think they want. I'm only going to approach ladies if I think I know what they want. If I think they're interested in me, then I'm going to approach. And if I don't get an indication that they're interested in me, then I'm not going to approach. That's pretty much what that's saying. You're pretty much saying that my likelihood of approaching a woman is based upon my assumption of what she wants. The problem with that is that a lot of women don't even know what's best for them. And sometimes people in general, men, don't even know what's best for them. Right? The best thing for you, you might not even have an idea about. The best thing for you, you might not even know it exists. You know? The best thing for you might be something totally foreign to you. If you was to take a survey and ask women, you know, to write down 5 things that they want in a man, hey man, that shit gonna be all over the place. And a lot of it is gonna be stupid, because the shit that some women want from a man ain't even important and don't even make sense to want from a man, right? You know, some women want their man to bow down to them and, you know, follow their lead and all that type of shit. You know, so some women want a guy to cook and clean for them. You know, other women want a guy that's gonna, dominate them in every way. It's just so many different things that women might want. And the thing that they want the most, they might not even know they want it yet. They might not even know it exists. They might not even have an idea or a clue of what that is, right? Again, it's like, back to sales. It's like a salesperson, predicating their sales skills on what they think somebody wants. See, a lot of times in sales, a lot of your sales are going to come from people who either didn't know what they wanted at all, or didn't know they wanted what you got to offer, or thought they didn't want what you got to offer. You know what I mean? A chick might look at you and think to herself, he's an asshole. You know what I mean? He might be into himself. So if a chick look at you and think that, if you the type of guy that's telling yourself, okay, I'm looking for some chick to give me a choosing signal so I could cold approach her and all this old goofy shit, right? A chick might see you, find you attractive, but the demeanor that you have communicates to her that you an asshole, that you rude. And if she was to say something to you, you gonna diss her. You gonna make her feel real small. So therefore, she ain't gonna look twice at you, or at least you're not gonna catch her looking twice at you. You might not catch her looking once at you, right? Seeing you out of peripheral, or she might have seen you before you even seen her, before you even laid eyes on her. She might have already done seen you and assessed you in 5 seconds. Like, damn, he's attractive, but he looked like an asshole, or he looked like he stuck up, or he looked uppity, or he looked too demanding, or he too stern looking, he too serious, he looked like no fun, whatever she say in her head, and she ain't gonna look twice, right? So she's not gonna give you a quote unquote choosing signal. But she might really, really, really be digging the way that you look. She might be really attracted to you. She might like the way you dress. She might like the fact that you take care of yourself a certain type of way. She might be able to see a lot of good things in you by your appearance, but something about your demeanor tells her, nah, he an asshole, I'm cool. Right? You don't know none of this because she's not giving you a choosing signal, so you ain't even going to approach her. You know how many times I've approached a woman and struck up a conversation, and I might have started it off with a joke, like Sinful say, man, charm and disarm. One of the best ways to charm and disarm a woman is with humor. If you can make a woman laugh, then 9 times out of 10, the rest is easy. You dig? But that's how you start. And it's been so many times where I've approached a woman and I might have, started the encounter with a laugh. And, the whole time I'm lighthearted, I'm jovial, I'm smiling and laughing, and got her smiling and laughing. And then once we get into a conversation and she's comfortable enough, she'll tell me like, damn, you know what? Like, when I first seen you, I just thought you was mean as hell. I thought you was an asshole. But now that we talking, come to find out you cool as hell. You funny, you smart, you this, you that. I never would have guessed that just by looking at you. So obviously these is chicks that ain't giving me no quote unquote choosing signal. You know what I mean? But I still took it upon myself to break the ice and say something to this chick. And it proved to be successful. See, like Henry Ford said, right? And y'all have heard me, some of y'all done heard me use this quote before, but one of my favorite quotes is from Henry Ford. And he said, if I asked the people what they wanted, they would have said a faster horse, right? Now, this is when Henry Ford was coming with with the invention of the automobile, right? And, he coming up with ways to improve it. And then he ended up coming with the V8 engine, right? At a time where people thought it was going to be impossible to create a V8 engine. He worked at it diligently. He had his team stay on it. But if he would have went to the people, to his customer base, and asked them like, yo, what y'all want? What y'all think I should do, to improve things, they would have said a faster horse, right? Because they don't have no clue about a V8 engine. So they can't, if he asks the people what they want, they ain't gonna say, oh, you know what, you should come up with a V8 engine. They ain't even thinking about that. They just think about faster horses because that's what they familiar with, right? So it's the same thing applies to women. For a lot of, they don't even know what the best thing is for them. A lot of women have never dealt with a certain type of man. The number of suckers, as Sinful to P would say, is innumerable. It's an innumerable amount of suckers in the world. And the likelihood of a chick meeting a sucker is extremely high. The likelihood of a chick meeting a guy who doesn't bring any value to the table, who's incapable of giving her what she needs to bring the best out of her, to be the bridge between her and her greater self, most guys are incapable of that. The likelihood of her coming across somebody that's incapable of that is extremely high. So with that being the case, she don't even have a point of reference as to, the right type of man for her to be with in most cases. So what you got to offer her might be totally foreign, but the best thing for her. And once you introduce it to her, she gonna be like, damn, I didn't even know this kind of man was out there, but I'm so glad I came across you. And see, these things, like I said, when you're sure of yourself as a man, when you know who you are as a man, when you're not a stranger to yourself as a man, and you operate from the inside out. You don't allow your behavior, your movement, your mindset, you don't allow those things to be dictated by something outside of yourself. What's going on around you, the number of people around you, the energy of the people around you, the weather, the location, any of this type of stuff. You don't allow yourself to be dictated by that. Your behavior and your movement and your mindset. You don't allow those things to be dictated by anything outside of yourself. Whether it's a blizzard going on or a heat wave or a hurricane, you got the same mindset and you operating from the inside out. Whether it's a disrespectful chick or a classy chick, or just, the wrong chick or the right chick or whatever it is, you operating from the inside out. So your decisions are based on your core. Your response to things is based on who you are on the inside, not based on what's happening around you. You dig? That's another reason why, you see these guys who are introverts and nerds and use terminology like cold approach and choosing signals and all this type of stuff. This is why when you see these guys interacting with women, it's always friction. It's always combat. It's always arguments and yelling and screaming matches and things like that, right? Because they're operating from the outside in. They're allowing what they perceive as disrespect from this woman to dictate who they are as a man. And, therefore they getting out of character and they belligerent and, they on these platforms with millions of people that's going to see this shit. And they supposed to be an expert in dealing with women, but every time you see them dealing with women, they arguing, you know what I mean? And they're not building anything. You know, they not having constructive conversation or constructive activities. It's not progressive because, you know, they just kind of like the woman. See, a lot of women, not all women, but a lot of women, you know, when they don't have their way, when they don't get the desired response from people, you know, they immediately become defensive and they want to argue. You know what I mean? This is why you see all these videos of chicks fighting at Waffle House and chicks fighting at the post office and chicks fighting, you know, at whatever restaurant or establishment and stuff like that. Because when they don't get the type of response from people that they want or that they feel like they're owed or they feel like they deserve, then, you know, it's a problem. But see, a man who operates from the inside out, not from the outside in, you know, he know how to navigate through them type of situations, right? It's expected for a woman to respond that way. But as a man, and especially a man is, you know, getting paid to teach other men how to navigate through these kind of situations and how to deal with women, that's crazy. I would never, you know, of course I'm cool. You know, but if I was planning on hiring a professional, you know, I would never hire somebody that, you know, when I see him in action, it just don't look good. You know, that that's crazy. You dig? You know, it's like if you was getting ready to get on a plane, right? If you was ready to take a flight from New York to San Francisco, right? That's about like a 5-hour flight. And they told you, they you know, they got on the intercom, y'all, everybody on the plane, y'all done put your seatbelts on, you done turned your phone off and everything like that. And the plane is backing away from the jetway and about to hit the runway and take off, right? But as the plane is backing out, you know, the pilot get over the intercom and he say, thank you for boarding the plane. You know, before we take off, I just wanted to let y'all know that, you know, I don't have very much flight experience. I only have 5 hours of flight experience, but I've really studied and I have the knowledge to a T. You know, if you ask me any question about flying, I can answer it perfectly, but I only have 5 hours of flight experience. You know what I mean? And within those 5 hours of flight experience, I almost crashed twice, but because I have so much knowledge, I was able to navigate myself out of those, you know, potential crash situations, and I landed safely. But I just wanted to let y'all know that, you know, if you was to hear that from a pilot, what you gonna do? Me, myself, I'm be like, hold on, man. Hey, stop this plane, man. I got to get off. I'll jump on the next one. You know what I mean? With that pilot who got the right amount of hours of experience. I don't care about that knowledge. Shit, I could sit up and read a book in a couple of days and probably have just as much knowledge as this guy. I want somebody with experience. You know, we're not doing that. Right? So on the same token, hey, man, that's one thing beautiful about this pimping. Like I said, we go through way more rejection than we do acceptance. So with that being said, hey, man, a pimp got so many hours of experience dealing with women, meeting women, maintaining women, getting to it with women, parting ways with women, learning from women, getting better from what we learn from women, and learning how to deal with women better based on the things that we learn from our failures with women. This comes from hours upon hours upon hours upon hours of experience, right? So, shoot, forget a plane. Think about a car. You know, you can go to driving school, driver's ed, and pass the written tests and all that type of stuff. But anybody who knows how to drive, which I'll go as far as to say, the majority of 189 people that's in here right now, the majority of y'all know how to drive, I'm sure. If any of you don't know how to drive, I'm sure it's a small percentage. But whether you know how to drive or not, we all have been in a car with somebody who know how to drive, and we've been in the car with people that make us nervous when they drive. Right? Hey, man, I know people that's in their 50s that have never taken the behind the wheel test and that have never taken a written test and have never had a driver's license. Right? I know people in that, matter of fact, they got their license. I know some people that didn't get their license until they was in their 40s. I know some people who didn't get their license until they was in their 50s. And I know some people in their 50s right now who have never had a driver license, but are great drivers. Right? So what would you rather trust? Who would you trust more? Somebody who ain't never studied driving, somebody who's never taking a driver's test behind the wheel or a written test and been driving 20, 30 years and ain't never had a car accident, ain't never got a ticket, or somebody who's only driven, 2 days out of their life, but could tell you everything that's in the written test and tell you everything how to pass the test. Who you gonna trust? Me, I'm gonna trust the person with experience. That knowledge is cool, you know what I mean? But I'm going to trust the person with experience. And the person, that's the thing about it, the person with all that experience, because they have so much experience and, their knowledge comes from experience. They've learned from those experiences. I'm pretty sure somebody like that, if they was to take the test without studying, 9 times out of 10, they're going to pass it. Because they have so much, they banked up on experience. Right? So, again, I say all of this to say there's a lot of people on the internet who sound very good. And it's not to say that everybody who sounds good is not good, but I will say that the majority of people who sound good are not good. Based on the ones that I've heard, because again, as somebody speaking from experience, you just know the difference. That's just like me, right? A lot of y'all ain't from California. And a lot of y'all ain't from LA. So it's a lot of things about California culture and Los Angeles culture that you don't know. Right? Now, because I'm born and raised in Los Angeles County, there's a lot of things I know about gang culture. There's a lot of things that I know about gang banging. I've seen a lot of activities secondhand, before my eyes as far as gang banging. I'd have seen gang bangers get into shootouts with each other, like seen it with my own eyes from an early age. I remember being, 11, 12 years old and seeing gangbangers get into a shootout, 100 feet in front of me. Right? And that's at like 11 or 12 years old. But, I've seen this kind of stuff so many times throughout my life. But am I a gangbanger? No. Have I ever endeavored to be a gangbanger? No. Have I ever considered myself a gangbanger? No. Do I have any experiences as a gangbanger? No. Done been locked up with a whole bunch of them. Done seen all the shit that happens in jail and prison. Dealing with gangbangers, the shit the gangbangers go through. I've seen a lot of it. So because I've seen so much, right? You could say that you could consider that like study, right? Like I've witnessed a lot of case studies throughout my life. So if I was to have a movie role as a gangbanger, hey man, I'll nail that shit. And if I was one of those types of people, I could get on here and tell you, I could just create a whole persona about myself. You know what I mean? I could call myself Freeze Dog or Freeze Loke or OG Gangsta Freeze or something like that. You know what I mean? And really play the role and have a whole bunch of stories that ain't mine, but I know about because I done been locked up with people telling me stories. I done been hanging in the neighborhood with gangbangers telling me stories. I done had family members, this gangbangers tell me stories, and I could just put my own shit together based on all that shit. And, you know, because I know real life stories, you know, I can convince a lot of y'all. But guess who I really ain't gonna be able to convince? Real gangbangers, especially ones that's my age, right? Ones that's my age that was, you know, gangbanging when I was, you know, a teenager in the 90s. They gon' know certain shit, right? Eventually I'm gonna say something or do something that's gonna be like, it's gonna be a red flag to a real gangbanger and be like, man, this fool freezes. He fraudulent, man. I know he sound like he know what he talking about, man, but man, I know this shit, man. I done really lived this shit. This dude fraudulent, man. For real. So on the same token, because when it comes to this game, I've really lived it for so long. For so long, I have really lived it. I have been about it. I have been through it to get to it. When I see or hear somebody say certain things and talk about this shit, it don't take long. They gonna say something or do something to expose themselves to me. They might have all of y'all convinced, but they gonna say or do something to expose themselves to me that's gonna have me looking at them like, and then guess what gangbangers do, right? Back to me, you know, hypothetically pretending to be a gangbanger, right? This is why that shit don't work. Because like I said, I'm gonna raise a red flag to a real gangbanger. Then guess what they gonna do? If I haven't revealed what set I'm from, which would be odd for a gangbanger, they gonna probably get in the comment section and be like, hey homie, where you talking all this, where you from? Right? And then, you know, I might say where I'm from and they gonna do their research because it's a network. And especially if you done been to prison and you older and, you know, you might have lived in Pasadena before, you might have lived in Harbor City before, you might have lived in Pacoima before, you might have lived in South Central before, you might have lived in Pomona before. You might have lived in all these places throughout your life and you know real dudes from all of these places. So, and then you done been to prison with guys from every neighborhood. So, you know, whatever set I say I'm from, you going to be able to get a hold of somebody over there that's either my age or older who would know me if I was official. And, you know, you could call them and be like, hey man, you got a homie from your neighborhood named Freeze? Which Freeze? Dark skin Freeze? Nah, light skin Freeze. Nah, I ain't got no homie named Freeze. You know what I mean? Or, you know, they might say something like, Freeze, wait a minute. It's a guy from Freeze, a guy named Freeze from my neighborhood, but he ain't from the set though. You know what I mean? Like Freeze, he used to play basketball in high school, then he went to college, and you know what I mean, after he got out of college, he went to the military and stuff like that. But nah, he from over here, but he not from the set though. You dig? They gonna get to the bottom of it real quick. So on the same token, you know, this game is the same way. You dig? We gonna be, you know, the pimping, as far as the pimping go, like one of y'all's favorite, quote unquote dating coaches that act like he was a pimp that got introduced to the Iceberg Slim book by a 6'4" gay black dude. You know what I mean? Hey, pimping is gonna get to the bottom of it. Pimping gonna be like, hey man, who introduced you to the game, or who you coming to the game with? You know what I mean? Or who was you around when you first got in the game? Where did you get in the game at? Where was you when you got in the game? Who was you around when you got in the game? You know what I mean? What's your first 304's name? What's your first 5 304's names? And when we get to asking these questions, we're going to be able to get to the bottom of it. Somebody going to know you. Like, oh, you came into the game in the Bay back in 2007? Oh, okay. My partner was up there during that time. Or matter of fact, I was up there during that time. You know what I mean? Oh, you say you got in the game in June of 07? Oh, nah, see, I was up there in the Bay in April of 07. But, I know my other partner, he was over there in June for sure. You know such and such? Nah, I don't know such and such. Damn, for real? And you was pimping in the Bay in 07? And you don't know such and such? Man, if you don't know such and such, then you wasn't pimping, because everybody knows such and such. It be shit like that. It's going to be a way to get to the bottom of it, is my point. You dig? So, yeah, man, it's a way to get to the bottom of it. You dig? E-books, good looking with the $5 holla, man. I don't know. There were a lot of OGs in my city believing Lil Wayne was a real blood. Hell, folks still buy into Pac as a real gangster. Cloud is a good mask. Hey, e-books though, but what city are you from though? You saying in your city? I'm curious to know what city you from, because any city in California, I don't see no city in California believing that Lil Wayne was a real blood. Or even if it was New Orleans, because like if you talk to real guys from New Orleans, they'll let you know, ain't no Crips and Bloods in New Orleans. You know what I mean? To my understanding, Mac 10 is the one that got them Cash Money dudes, representing that blood shit. Mac 10 came around and turned all them dudes out. Okay, e-books. Yeah, see, you from Michigan. Yeah, man. So, see, it's just different. And I know Michigan got Crips and Bloods, but when you from California, man, it's just different, as far as the gangbanging go. And I know for sure ain't no OGs crazy enough from California to believe that Lil Wayne was a real blood. Nah. Oh, Michigan, Midwest most of my life. Yeah. Yeah, man. It's just different. And then even if you might got certain OGs from where you from that might have been convinced that Lil Wayne was a real blood, them OGs, man, they might not be, they might just be older, man, but they might not really be official. Because granted, it is different when you coming from California, but no matter where you from, man, because you got real ones everywhere. If you official where you from, man, you know, and I'm talking about official, man, because you got other places, man, that they get down as like strange, and it's not the same as where it originated from. It's not even close to where it originated from. You got places that, claim something and it's like totally different. You dig? That's just like, I ain't gonna say no names of no cities. I ain't gonna name no cities, but because I don't want to ruffle nobody's feathers, but it's certain cities, and I ain't going to go too far off topic, but I'm going to just say this and then, get back to this game. But there's a particular city that I have in mind, right? And I've talked to multiple people from that city. Now, older people say one thing from that city, younger people say another thing. But I've had people from that city tell me that in that city, the GDs are Crips and I think the Vice Lords or Bloods or something like that. And I'm like, wait a minute, that's two different things. And they like, no, not in my city. In my city, the GDs is Crips and the such and such is Bloods. I think it was Vice Lords, if I'm not mistaken. They were saying the device, and it ain't Chicago. You know what I mean? I ain't talking about Chicago at all. I'm talking about another place that has, all of these gangs there, and they say that the Crips is GDs or the GDs is Crips or however you want to say it. And, the Vice Lords is Bloods or the Bloods is Vice Lords or whatever the case may be. You know what I mean? Now, if you talk to somebody, if you tell somebody that's from Chicago that, or you tell somebody that's from California that, they gonna look at that crazy, right? But, that city, this moving like that, you probably can't tell them nothing because they got dead homies that represented that, and they done went to the pen for that, and all that type of stuff. So you probably can't tell them nothing. But I'm just saying that to say that's an example of how, things are different in different places, and therefore, what somebody might find official, other people is gonna be like, hell no. You dig? But back to this game that we never left, in the words of my brother Sinful to P. Let me put some more love in my body, man. If you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain, please do so now. Hit that like button, man. You mean to tell me it's 228 of y'all up in here, but only 157 of y'all done wiped your feet off at the door? Y'all tripping, man. Wipe your feet off at the door. Hit that like button. Yeah, man. Back to this game, though. You dig? But yeah, like I was saying, right? The whole idea of, looking for or waiting to see a choosing signal from a woman and this whole cold approach and all that shit, like I said, that terminology comes from a place of fear and intimidation. Intimidation from the woman and fear of rejection from the woman, right? Because when you a man, you understand that, hey man, this woman might not even know that I'm her favorite man. She might not even know that I'm the love of her life. You dig? I'm the love of her life. She just don't know it yet. I'm the man of her dreams. She just don't know it yet. That's the idea of, or that's the mindset of somebody who knows themselves, somebody who's not a stranger to themselves, right? Dave from the Bama, good looking with the $5 holla. Will you receive Steve the Dean or review Steve the Dean and Lucario? They are big game coaches, quote unquote game coaches. You and Sin was on the panel with Steve on O'Shea's show. Yeah, Steve the Dean, I believe I'm familiar with who that is. I know that I've been on a panel with, like you said, me and Sinful was on a panel with on O'Shea's Sunday Rumble with dude. Uh, and I think I got a face with the name. Like, I think I remember him. I know I remember the name for sure, but I think I even remember being on the panel with him. Lucario, I'm not sure who that is. But you saying review him? I don't know. I guess maybe I could check him out and see what it is. I might do that. But I've heard. Like I said, I'm familiar with Steve the Dean, but I'm not familiar with Lucario. But I might have to check those guys out in when I find time to do so. You dig? He's bald. Yeah, I think he a bald, older, brown-skinned dude, if I'm not mistaken. Steve got some cool stuff. He's actually not too bad. Dave from the banner say, some of the people in the chat, Steve used to work, I guess, was Gorgeous Dre and Rosebud. I think you meant to say work with Gorgeous Dre and Rosebud. Oh, okay. See, it's mixed reviews in the chat. Somebody say, can't believe Lucario is still around, and then that's CJ, and then Fierce Soul says Steve and Lucario are solid. And ebook say, wasn't Lucario on Tariq's old alias when he was doing the coach thing? Lucario and Steve do not run no cold approach or choosing signal shit. They stand on business. Okay, Joe Blast. So I guess it seemed like it's more support of these guys than not. When it's overstood, it's overstood. When you have faith in application with your game in the field, she just have to reciprocate. Kevin Rayos, but see, what I'm saying is it don't matter what she got to reciprocate. Hey, man. See, like I said, that's what makes the pimping just so perfect when it comes to, approaching women. Because shout out to my partner Pepe Le Pew, man. Long live Pepe Le Pew. But Pepe Le Pew was some old school pimping, right? But that name is just so perfect for a pimp's name, because that's how the game go a lot of times, man. I haven't really, I haven't been through that. But, or I may have, I can't think of a particular time. But I've seen so many P's, sweat a chick, get rejected, and then finally make her crack and end up having her. You know what I mean? Matter of fact, let me see, can I find that shit? Let me see if I can show y'all something real quick. Speaking of that, hold on. Oh shit, wrong shit. Let me see. Let me see if I can show y'all an example of, a real one in action. And how, the fear of rejection, doesn't apply. Let me see if I can see. Come on. Okay, there we go. Let me see. Hope he still got this video. Damn. Boy, this shit. This damn autocorrect. Where is that video? I know that video is on here. Wait. just seen the shit not too long ago, I think. Where is that video at? Give me just a second, man. I'm trying to find this video, and I think I'm going to find it. Damn, man. Man, he ain't... Wait, let me see. Is this it? Nah, that's not it. Man, I know he got that video on here, man. Hold on. Is this it? Nah, this ain't it. Damn, man. I was trying to find a video. I was trying to give y'all a great example of, how, not relying on what a chick got to say can oftentimes work in your favor. I can't find the damn video I was looking for, man. And I know P had that shit on here, but I don't see it. Where that shit? Let me see. Might be over here. Let me see. I think P lost his page. That's why I can't find the shit. Because people's pages be getting took. Oh, well. Can't find it, but it's all good. But yeah. 3 the harder way, good looking with the $5 holla, you dig? Steve the Dean be extra, be calling dudes biatches and shit. I feel like if you really got power in your words, you really don't have to belittle men, you dig? Yeah, not just power in your words, but again, operating from the inside out. You dig? Now, especially over the internet, calling men, bitches over the internet, I could see if they start with that and you doing it in a roasting type fashion. But if you getting mad and calling men that word, I don't know. That's kind of that's kind of strange to me. Steve goes overboard in how he speaks to people. I'm never getting married. Simple as that. Speaking of marriage, right? See, this the thing. Now, like I said, the lifestyle of a pimp, it's understandable why pimps don't subscribe to the marriage theory, right? Because for a pimp, pimps tend to have multiple women at one time. And, the pimping is going to treat all of these women fairly. So with that being the case, it's like you're not going to marry all of them. So don't marry none of them. That's the idea of the pimping, right? But for a square man, to say you're not getting married, really, it's like it's more emphasis being put on the event of marriage than it is like the actual relationship and the actual connection with a woman. Right? But you should want to have a strong connection with a woman. You know, hey man, this one thing that any man with some good sense know, whether you a pimp or a square, a player, whatever, right? You know, we all can reflect back, especially if you been doing this man shit for a while. And for you guys that are young that haven't been doing this man shit for a while, take it from somebody who has been doing this man shit for a while. We all know what it's like to have that woman that's just down, that's just in love with you, down for you, willing to do whatever, make whatever sacrifice she got to make to please you. You know what I mean? Is just down for you unconditionally, no matter what. She gonna go to war with you. She gonna put the ski mask on and run up in the bank with you. She gonna go to church and pray with you. Whatever you own, she's on it with you. You know what I mean? She gonna be a drug kingpin with you. You know what I mean? She gonna be a dope fiend with you. Whatever you own, you know what I mean? Now, of course, the dope fiend thing ain't healthy, but I'm just using that as an example of, you know, somebody being down for you. You know, me, myself, I can reflect back to before I got in the game, you know, different square chicks I was dealing with that was just so down for me. And of course, within the game, I could reflect on various chicks that was just so down for me, man. And it ain't nothing greater than that, especially when it's reciprocated. You know, when you can appreciate that in a woman, you know, a woman is just down for you, right? And anybody who's just trying to be a player forever, or, you know, especially if you a square. If you a square and you just want to be a player forever, that's cool. But even within being a player, you know, when you have that one woman in your life, this gonna be solid with you. And you solid with her, and y'all connected, and y'all got a cold bond between each other, and you got love between each other. You dig? You know, if something serious go down, you can go to her and she gonna hold you down. You know what I mean? That's just like, for instance, right? I have a pimp partner who has experienced this, and I have a family member, a blood relative of mine, did experience this, right? Both of these guys been through this, right? And both of these guys went through this with women that they've been with for years. Really decades, right? Both of these guys been with these women for decades. One of them is a pimp, the other one is a square, right? But my pimp partner caught a case, right? He caught a pimp case, and the people wanted him so bad. They were so dirty with him that they took his chick, who had been down with him for years. They took her from a state that the case wasn't even in, and she hadn't even been to the state that the case was in. She was in another state. They went to that other state and took her and brought her back to the state where he caught his case at, and charged her with the same thing he was charged with, and kept her in jail for like 4-5 months. Right? And, you know, of course they did that to try to get her to fold on him and, you know, put her pressure on him and give them what they needed in order to have what they wanted to have out of the pimping. But she stayed solid. That woman went to jail in that other state and went through whatever she had to go through because that's how much love she had for her man. And she knew that he had that kind of same love for her because, you know, them being together for so long, you know, naturally you're going to make sacrifices for each other. And they've already been through, you know, so many situations. They've been tried and true. They've been tested. They stood the test of the fire. So they know that, you know, they solid with each other. So the chick, man, she stayed down, and then eventually they had to drop her shit and let her go. But when she went into the situation, she not knowing that, they charging her with the same shit he charged with, and she thinking like, damn, we both in the same boat now. But she stayed solid, and as a result, you know, they end up letting her go. Now that's the pimping, right? My pimp partner. Now I have a family member who went through the same thing with his wife. His wife that he been with forever. You know what I mean? He ended up catching the case. You know, I ain't gonna get to the details of it, but he ended up catching the case, and they tried to get his wife to flip on him. Of course, she wasn't trying to flip, so they did the same thing to her. They charged her with the same shit he was charged with, and I think she stayed in jail for like a whole year. You know, fighting this shit. And again, same type of thing. Eventually, they end up letting her go. And then my relative, they end up letting him go too. He ended up beating the case. But they charged her with the same shit. You dig? And so my point is, you know, I've had chicks that I haven't had that experience with, but I've had chicks that I believe would, you know, do the same thing if they was put in that same situation. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, I know they would, right? And they know that I would hold them down the same way if the tables was turned. And you know, when you solid with somebody like that, that's what the focus is. It's not so much about, being married on paper, and if you do get married on paper, that's a mutual agreement, and that's something that y'all have come to terms with, and y'all gonna be with each other forever, and you're not anticipating the end. So, you're not tripping on that. But see, like I said, a lot of guys be listening to these nerds who they don't speak from a place of experience. They don't speak from a place of wisdom, right? So they giving you advice that they haven't even applied to their life. You dig? Freeze, if your partner gets locked up over the bitch and the bitch has to come to court and testify against him, would you take his broad? Would you take his broad and put her under peace surveillance? Don Supreme, hell no. No. Now, let me ask you this. The chick who they trying to get to go to court and testify on him, is she the reason why he's in there? Like, did she get him booked? Are you asking that, or is it just a chick that he got and, they trying to use her against him, but she ain't got nothing to do with the reason why he locked up? You talking about a situation like that, or she is the reason he locked up? Sound like you talking about she is the reason he locked up, though, because if you talking about keeping her under peace surveillance and stuff like that, nah, I'm not doing it. Because if she did it to him, she'll do it to me. And see, cats be, you got some weird dudes out there, man, that be thinking like, oh man, he mispimped, man. He don't got the game that I got. I know how to handle that type of situation. Nah, we don't handle snitches, we don't handle, stool pigeons, man. We let them, we put a whole lot of distance between us and them. That's how we handle that. And see, I know of a situation like that, right? Now, they wasn't partners, but my partner, right? My partner got booked, a different partner of mine. He got booked. Chick told on him. And while he was in jail, the chick went and chose up with this other cat. And this other cat knew that she's the one that put him in jail. And not only that, but he was taking her to her court dates, driving her to the court dates and picking her up and dropping her off and all of that, knowing that she's going to court, you know, to testify or give statements or whatever she had to do in order to, you know, get the pimping, have the book thrown at him. And guess what ended up happening to that guy? She told on him too. And he ended up getting more time than the pimping that he was taking her to court to testify against. Yeah. That's how that type of stuff goes. You reap what you sow. And that's what people don't understand. So me, nah, I'm cool. You ain't gonna never catch me, as you say, putting peace surveillance on abroad just telling. Nah, I'm cool. Brother Bill, good looking with the $2 holler. Glory to God for this game. Blessings, brother. Blessings to you as well. Yeah, nah, pimp ain't doing that, man. You know, we not fraternizing with snitches. We not making snitches think that we cool with them and all that old type of stuff. You know what I mean? And nah, man. Ain't none of that going on. And then, you know, like me, you know, my integrity is everything. And my integrity drives me. And I just, you know, I wouldn't be comfortable with myself. I wouldn't be able to sleep good at night. I wouldn't be able to look myself in the mirror comfortably, knowing that that's what I'm doing or that's what I've been a part of and all that type of shit. Nah. Cause, you know, I view that as, you know, helping them people do their job. And even if you genuinely might be saying to yourself, okay, you know what, I'm a hold on to her and keep her from telling on the pimping, and she already got him locked up, but I'm gonna keep her from testifying on him and all that. Hell nah. She already got him locked up. And you think that you're gonna be able to convince her to not go any further and, you know, stick more nails in the coffin with the pimping. Nah. Hell nah. You know, I be thinking sometimes, man, the type of cloth that I'm cut from, man, that shit don't even exist no more. People look at me crazy because I'm so anti-snitch and anti-police and, you know, anti-helping them people do their job in any kind of way. People think I'm insane, but hey, it is what it is. What if he asks you to do it? I'm not doing it. Wait, I'm trying to think. I know a situation like that too. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. I know a situation like that. Where, you know, Pimpin asked his partner to do that. And Pimpin was like, hell no. Hell no. No, no. Jack Mack, good looking with the $5 holler, you dig? Do you personally know religious leaders that are tricks? No, I don't personally know any, but I had a 304 that had a religious leader as a regular. You know what I mean? He was a pastor of a church, and he was her regular, and you know what I mean? He was into some wild stuff beyond just tricking. You know what I mean? Like he was wild, but he was her regular, and he was the pastor of a church. So I do know that goes on. I don't even want to say all the other wild stuff that he was into, because it can be discouraging for people. You know what I mean? But yeah, that type of stuff ain't cool. But they out there though. Do you know any cold peas out of Detroit? 3 the Hardaway, good looking with the $2 holler. Yeah, man. Old school Detroit Slim. Obviously, as the name implies, from Detroit. You know, uh, some very well known, reputable veteran guy from there. But yeah, I know some others too. I don't want to say their names because I don't know if they want their names to be said. Pretty sure Detroit Slim wouldn't mind, but everybody else, I don't know. But yeah, it's some real ones from Detroit. I know several. You dig? E-books, good looking with the $2 holler. Who's a bigger 304? Snitch, the snow? Are you asking if the snow is more of a snitch than other ethnicities? Is that what you saying? Is that what you asking? Because if that's what you asking, nah. Um, it's a different. And I did a live not too long ago, maybe a little over a month ago, talking about that. Who snitches more between black chicks and white chicks? You dig? I touched on that not too long ago. So if you want an in-depth answer to that question, you can go check that live out because it's a whole lot of game in there. You dig? Some NOI members, according to some D-Town Max, no names. Huh. They all rat equally, King Lucius 400 say. They all rat equally. Like I said, I touched on that in a live not too long ago, man. But see, it's times is just different now, man. Nobody wants to abide by rules of any kind, not just street rules, but people don't want rules for themselves. People just, and a lot of chicks, especially, like I was saying before, these are the type of chicks that don't know how to deal with being told no, and therefore they have a fit when they don't get their way, and they'll do unfair things to get their way when they can't get their way. So with that being the case, that's somebody that's gonna tell in a heartbeat. And in today's times, you got them across the board, because this current generation of young females, there is a lot of them who just have a major problem being told no or not having their way, and they don't know how to deal with that. So yeah, it's a lot of that going on. Jack Mack, good looking with the $5 holler. Tricking with the offering. That's why I don't go to church. Yeah, I've I've spent some of that kind of money before, and I ain't proud of it, but yeah, it does happen. It does happen. Yeah, because as far as the snitching thing, man, between black and white or whatever, the few times that I've had something like that happen with me, it's been black women. But you talk to another pimp and they'll tell you that it's happened several times with them, with white women. And just as a spectator, from the outside looking in, I've seen it happen a lot, across the board. But it's not so much of an an ethnicity thing as it is a generational thing as far as what's going on right now. See, times are different now. Like, it's like culturally, it's a lot of blurred lines across the country. It's a lot of blurred lines ethnically as far as culture goes, because the internet makes it that way. Like, it used to be a time where in order to understand New Orleans lingo, you had to go to New Orleans. And in order to understand LA lingo, you had to go to LA. In order to understand Philly lingo, you had to go to Philly. But now, and you might hear some of it through the music. You know what I mean? You might know a little lingo from different places through the music. But the music was like the extent of it. Maybe movies, too. Like back in the day, people knew a lot about LA culture who ain't never been to LA from the music and the movies. But the music and the movies only give you so much, right? You never get to really see how, at least back in the day, you don't get to see how the rappers from a certain city live day to day, or actors, or the role that people are playing, rather. You don't really get to see that up close and personal through a movie. Right? So it's only so much that you know from that. And a lot of it is embellished. So the difference now, I could have never been to, let's say, I don't know. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, I ain't never been to Houston before. I'm from New York and I ain't never been to Houston before, right? I could follow different people from Houston and I could see so much of their culture through social media. When I watch them go live, I could see what the night on the town is like. They might be out on the nightlife, hollering at different chicks. I could listen to the music that's going on down there. I could listen to how they talk to each other. It's just so much that you could pick up from social media. So with that being said, a lot of the lines is blurred when it comes to culture. Of course, certain things are still specific to certain areas, but there's a lot of things that are kind of similar across the board because of social media. So with that being the case, hey man, one thing that's across the board is that clout demon. That clout demon got a hold of a lot of these young chicks, and it gives them the impression, or it gives them the feeling that they just supposed to have their way all the time. And how dare you tell them no when it comes to anything? I'm popping. I got followers. I got all these thirsty dudes in my DM. How you gonna tell me no? How you ain't gonna let me have my way? You did? So, yeah, it's a lot of that going on. Hold on. Okay. Kevin Rail say, you F with Pimp C Freeze? Yeah, hell yeah. You talking about the rapper Pimp C? Yeah. Definitely keep some Pimp C in the rotation. For sure. Shit, other cities using other cities' lingo. Ops and On Gang is Memphis, and Cub Blood is California, and Jit is Florida. Dave from the Bama, you so right about that, because it's people from California who use the term Jit who ain't never been to Florida. You know what I mean? But it's because of social media, though. right? So on that same token, chicks snitching, and then see, it don't be no consequence because a chick could tell on somebody, have somebody sent to the pen, everybody could know it, and she's still gonna have a bunch of thirsty dudes in her DM justifying her snitching and telling her why she was right, why she did the right thing, and how the dude who she snitched on deserved to go to jail because he did her wrong some type of way and all this sort of type of stuff. So when that's your experience, why would you think it's wrong? And that's what's going on. Low Joe, good looking with the $2 holler. How can people help to catch hand and keep hand? Exercise, man. Trial and error. And also, having the being interested enough to understand. See, us as people, it's human nature to be selfish. No matter what nobody tell you, man, we all have a selfish nature about ourselves. It's an acquired thing to be selfless. You have people that are selfless and considerate and, could put others before themselves and so on and so forth. But that's acquired. It's not natural for human beings to be that way. We are selfish by nature. So with that being the case, when it comes to dealing with women, it'll do you a great deal of justice to have the mindset and the desire to understand, to actually take the time to understand who you dealing with and what you're dealing with as far as a woman. That's going to help you with your catch hand and your keep hand, right? With your keep hand, it's an ongoing thing to pay attention, to understand, to be considerate, and, to understand yourself as well. And, being able to treat that individual, of course, once you've established that this is somebody that's deserving of that, treat that individual a certain type of way to command the type of treatment from them that you want. Right. But all of that comes with understanding. And then too, like I said, exercise, man. You got to go through it to get to it. It's only so much studying you could do. It's only so much research you can do. It's only so much observation you can do. At some point, you got to get your hands dirty. You can't skip that. You can't skip the process. You got to respect the process. And a part of the process is, going through it to get to it, having failures, getting rejected, getting into relationships going bad, learning from that, being better, moving forward so that you know how to better identify what you want in a woman and how to avoid what you don't want in a woman. And, all of that, man, it's it all comes from experience though. And like I said, that desire to understand. High ranking official, good looking with the $5 holler. You see the pimpin' get turned into a punching bag on E14. Hey man, no comment, man. That wasn't no pimping though. I don't care what nobody say. They be like, man, Freeze, man, just last week he just pulled a Bentley out her ass, man. You know what I mean? He got 200 toes on E14 right now. Nah. That boy was having too much trouble, man. I should be laughing at the guy, man. That ain't cool, man. But damn, he need to get his weight up. He need to get his leg strength together because that's a big part of the reason why he was having the problem that he was having, because his legs was weak. You know what I mean? He had one up under him. He had one on top of him, and it wasn't, man. That wasn't cool, man. Why you bring that up, man? High ranking official, man. Why you bring that up, man? That ain't cool, man. You out of line. You came in here on some bullshit. Oh man, you ain't right, man. Came in here on some bullshit. You ain't cool, man. You tripping. Oh man. But yeah, they need to pray for that young man. They need to get him some milk and a blanket. And some protein shakes and some dumbbells and some ankle weights and a workout plan, man. And he need to step his weight up, because that ain't never supposed to happen. On the blade, in front of people, and then now it's all over the internet. Oh yeah, dude's tripping. Dave from the Bama, good looking with the $2 holler. Tools and jewels. Do looks, money, status matter? Yeah, definitely. You know what I mean? Now you don't want that to be the show. You want those to be like, you don't want those to be the main characters in the movie. You know what I mean? You want that to be play supporting roles, but you don't want that to be the main character of the movie, though. You dig? Because it's like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have a chick that got, the 2-foot eyelashes and, a different lace front on every 3 days and, just super cosmetic out the game? And she might look cool, but would you want somebody who that is the main attraction of who she is? Her conversation ain't about shit. Her sense of humor ain't about shit. She just a lame, shallow chick, but she got all these accessories to make her look good. Or would you rather have a chick that's, she might have those things going on, but she holds a decent conversation. She got a good sense of humor. You can connect with her and build with her. You know what I mean? Yeah, you want that. So on the same token, it definitely helps, because see, it's certain things that speak for you, right? Like y'all done heard me talk about speaking with your appearance, right? There's certain things that can speak for you as well. Right now, when you have a certain look about yourself, it speaks that you're not lazy in that regard. It speaks that you take good care of yourself. You know what I mean? Like when you well groomed and, you smelling good, your hygiene is together. A lot of guys have problems with that, man. It might sound like a given. It might sound like, it's just, something all guys got to order, but it's not. You know what I mean? You got some guys that are not fly by nature. I started a series a long time ago called Flyness Essentials, man, and I only did one episode of that shit. I need to pick that shit back up, because a lot of guys, they not fly by nature. They put fly things on top of their body. They might ride and fly things, or they might, have fly accessories, but they not fly by nature. So because they not fly by nature, man, hey, I done seen dudes put on $1,000 sweaters and be funky. Ain't took a shower. Smelling bad. You know what I mean? I done seen dudes put on $1,500 shoes with dirty feet. And after wearing them shoes for a couple of times, they feet stank. So in those cases, those are guys who they need those things in order to catch, right? But if you got those things going on, they supposed to compliment you. They not supposed to be the main attraction. And a lot of guys let that stuff be the main attraction, man. Yeah, man, there's guys like that out there, man, with just, horrible hygiene, man. It's guys out there that's going to put cologne on a garbage can, man. Not understanding, hey, man, this garbage can stink because of what's inside it. You can't put no cologne out on the outside of it and think the smell going to get better. No, man. You got to take care of the inside of that trash can. And it's still a trash can nonetheless. But you know, some people just don't understand it, man. Eat Books, good looking again with the $5 holler. Do peas chop or tax false flaggers that come to the blade? How would they react to fakes like Big Church and Kelpie? It's not like it ain't no tax thing that goes on. If somebody, do that, then they being a bully, I don't really see that going on. And if somebody allowed somebody to do that to them, then they not a man. But as far as chopping, yeah, if it was like a Kelpie or a Big Church on the blade, me myself, I wouldn't even chop them because it's a blessing even in the chopping from a real pimp. You gonna get some game getting chopped up by some real pimping. You know what I mean? So if you don't believe this individual got it in him, then it ain't even worth chopping them. But what can happen though is you either if he got some work that got the potential to be some real 304ing, then you knock him for those. Or if she just a girlfriend that's out there doing favors for her boyfriend, because there's a whole lot of that going on. It's a whole lot of chicks on the blade that ain't got a 304 bone in their body, ain't got a 304 molecule nowhere in their existence, but they getting down, and pimping don't want nothing like that. So you might understand that this is just a boyfriend and girlfriend in love out here trying to utilize the game to their benefit, but they ain't putting nothing into the game. They not an asset to the game. They not giving no value to the game. You dig? They just trying to leech off the game. If he got chicks out there and it's somebody like that, then you just put the pressure on so thick that she can't handle it. You know what I mean? She gonna be if one of them kind of dudes get out there, like for instance, let's say Kelpie came to Hollywood and he set them girls down that he had on soft white underbelly with him, right? Somebody's gonna roast they gonna roast the shit out of him. Somebody is. I probably wouldn't do it, but somebody gonna roast the shit out of him. And then what I probably would do is make his girlfriends very uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I'm a roast the shit out of their ass and make them feel so small that they don't even want to be out there no more. I'm a dissect their ass with this game so cold that they gonna be like, damn, what am I even doing out here? I'm tripping. And they might want to choose a pimp, but nah, ain't nothing happening. Take your boyfriend and go home. They gonna be so discombobulated they ain't gonna be able to catch a date. They ain't gonna be able to get no money. And he ain't gonna know what to do. So 9 times out of 10, as soon as they tell him, I'm ready to go, he gonna be like, okay. Cause he not the pimping, so he don't have a solution to that problem. So yeah, that's what the pimp gonna do, man. Pimp gonna make them chicks so uncomfortable that they gonna tell him it's time to go, and he gonna follow their lead, and they gonna get up out of there. And like I said, somebody gonna end up roasting them. Now the little chick that what's the name had the church dude. I don't even like calling his ass that shit, but the Big Church dude. His little girlfriend that he had, now that's something that a pimp might want. Me, myself, I wouldn't want her because I know apple trees come from apple seeds. So if she's messing with him, then, that says a lot about the type of woman that she is. And I don't want nobody like that in my life. But pimping just seeing her down, they gonna sweat the shit out of her. And it's gonna be one of two things is gonna happen. Either she gonna end up choosing with somebody, or it's gonna be the same thing. She gonna call him and say she ready to leave, and he's gonna do the same thing. He gonna get her up out of there. And same thing, somebody might roast his little goofy ass because it'd be a strong urge, man. Like if the pimpin' see somebody like a Kelpie or a big church, on the blade, it's gonna be a strong urge to roast. The spirit of roasting is just gonna be so compelling, man. It's gonna be hard to fight it. But me myself, I wouldn't want to roast neither of them dudes on the blade, because that's probably their dream is to get roasted by a real pimp, so I ain't gonna bless them. You know what I mean? So, because I know me myself, shit, that's how I learned a lot of the shit that I learned, by getting roasted by elder pimps. But the difference is they saw something in me. They saw that I had a bone in me about this shit. So that's why they even blessed me with a roasting. You know what I mean? But pimping, we do our best not to roast them guys that we know ain't really the pimping. You know what I mean? If we do roast somebody, it's because we see some type of potential in them, They see me trolling, good looking with the $2 holla. Speak on how to identify some P. Cold throwback. Oh, you remember that one, huh? Yeah, man. Like I say all the time, man, the best way to identify some pimping is by his nature and his ability to do what the average man can't do. You dig? That's like it was somebody that asked something, man. It was a comment somewhere. Just recently, man. What did they say? Oh, it was a dude. I got to go back and find that comment. I seen it, but I didn't respond to it because I got sidetracked. But it was a dude, I want to say it was on Instagram. I think it was I can't remember which of my because I got 2 Instagrams. But on one of my Instagrams, this guy said a comment. He said something, to paraphrase what he said. He basically was asking, why is it such a bad thing to get it from the hip and not the lip? Because for me, it's worked better to get it from the hip than it has getting it from the lip. So what that means for, the squares who don't understand the terminology, the pimping, we say we get it from the lip, not the hip. What that means, we gonna talk for it. We ain't gonna lay on our back for it. That's what them 304s do. But, you got guys that get it from the hip and not the lip. The Dirk Digglers of the world, the male gigolos, Deuce Bigelows of the world, they get it from the hip. And, that's because they don't have nothing to come from the lip. They can't talk upon what they want, so they gonna give the pelvic thrust for what they want, right? So that's what this guy was pretty much saying is what he do, right? But, anybody can do that. Anybody can get intimate with a female in order to have their way with her, right? But see, the beautiful thing about the pimping is that we connect with a woman and touch a woman in places that nobody else is going to be able to touch her. We reach in places that other guys, the average guys, arms is too short to reach. The pimping got the long arm of the game that's going to touch her in them areas. You dig? So, yeah, that's just one of many things that separates the pimping from the average guy. That's one of many things that he has the ability to do that the average guy can't do. You dig? The average guy is not able to be alone with an attractive woman, she pressing him for the intimacy, and he's just able to resist her and not go there. The average guy doesn't know what that feels like, but the pimping, we know what that feels like because we've done it on so many different occasions. You know what I mean? And we driven by the spirit of the game, and the spirit of the game is going to give you the strength to resist a woman physically when y'all alone and she pressing you for the intimacy, you know, and you able to resist it. That strength is gonna come from the spirit that come with this game. So that's another thing that distinguishes the pimping from the average man. You dig? So it really ain't nothing special getting it from the hip. You know, that's you pretty much a male gigolo. You pretty much a male prostitute. You dig? So yeah, that's how you identify pimping. You dig? Low Joe, good looking with the $2 holla. Please add bring the essentials of flyness back. Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that, man, because I know it's very much necessary, because you know, flyness has a lot to do with your influences and your upbringing along the way, and a lot of people didn't have the right influences and the right upbringing along the way. So, you know, and it's not to say that they can't become fly. You dig? I believe flyness is something that, you know, can be acquired if you have the desire to acquire it. So yeah, I might have to bring those essential of flyness back. You dig? Now we're going to chop and pop this game for a few more minutes, man. I'm going to answer a few more questions, and then we're going to end up wrapping it up, man. So we're going to chop it for a few more minutes. If you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you stepped into a pimp's domain, please do so now. Hit that like button while I put some more of this good old love juice in my body, man. It's H to the Izzo. Shaq boy, what's up with you, man? Long live Sinful to P. Yes, indeed. King Lucius say pimps making OnlyFans. Nah, not no pimps. You know what I mean? That's an example, like we talking about, you know, doing it from the hip. Them guys is doing it from the hip, you know, they got the OnlyFans going on. But like I said, that's something anybody could do. But can't know just anybody, you know, pique a woman's interest with game. You know, that's what distinguishes the pimping from the average man. Yes, indeedy. Hold on. Okay. Oh, my bad. I missed a couple of I missed a few. Hold on. Let me get back to these, man. I'm tripping. E-books. Good looking with the $2 holler, man. I missed your super chat way back. You said more dangerous, tricks with money or bust down with money? Hey, that's a good question. That's a real good question. A trick with money or a bust down with money? I think that's what you asking, like, who's more dangerous? A trick with money or a bust down with money? But they can both be potentially dangerous, but the thing about the bust down, man, the bust down is more heavily driven by emotions, and those emotions could be swayed in various different ways. So, man, that bust down crazy. Joe Blast, good looking with the $5 holler. Respect and gratitude, Freeze. Appreciate you, man. Mike J. Womack, good looking with the $5 holla. Who remember having phone call? Oh, wait. Damn, where'd it go? Okay. Who remembers having phone number challenges back in the day with the homies at the mall? We was youngsters in training getting at them girls. Yeah, see, Mike J. Womack, you know what I'm talking about. See, and that's where it starts. It starts from those kind of experiences. You know what I mean? Those kind of challenges, right? It's that spirit of competition that helps you develop those skills when it comes to dealing with women. Because when you present a challenge like that, right? Because I used to do them challenges too. Me and my homeboys when I was, in high school and shit, we'd go to the mall, do the same thing, right? When you have that spirit of competition, you're not thinking about being rejected. You're not scared of what a woman is going to say or how she's going to respond or react to you getting at her. You just getting at whoever's number you want. You know what I mean? And some chicks is going to reject you. Some chicks is going to accept you. You dig? But you're going to keep the dice hot. You're going to keep rolling them dice. So, yeah, man. I definitely remember them days, and that was a very valuable experience. You dig? Lojo, good looking with the $2 holla, man. What can people do to help their catch? Oh, yeah, I acknowledged that one already. I just didn't like it at first. My bad. E-Books, good looking with the $2 holla. Sugar Free got game, or he just a hip shooter? Nah, Sugar Free definitely got game. It's certain things that can't be faked. And Free definitely got some game. That part can't be denied or debated. Definitely got some game. Faux show. Steve Mayfield, good looking once again with that $50 holla, man. Much appreciated. Lojo, good looking with the $2 holla. Any advice for Slim John? She's always on some mess. She need Jesus, man. She need prayer. Not even being funny. That's for real. She really need the Most High in her life, because she's doing what the scripture tells you not to do, which is lean on your own understanding, and her understanding is all messed up. So yeah, she just needs to leave the game alone and come with a different she needs so much, man. She need to leave the game alone, though, because even if she was to come across the right individual in the game to follow, she's still gonna, because her mindset is so thwarted and messed up, it's still gonna go bad. She don't mean herself no good. She can't mean anybody else any good. And that's somebody you just got to pray for, man. That alcohol and them drugs got a strong hold on her, man. And it's just unfortunate. It's bad enough, I'm sure she was already confused extremely before the alcohol and drugs got a hold of her. But now they got her in the headlock. So, you could just imagine the decision-making process that goes on with somebody like that, man. So blessings to her. And, man, the best thing you could do for her is pray for her. 3 the Hardaway, good looking with the $2 holla. I noticed there'd be a lot of solid P's out of Memphis, too. Yeah, Memphis is like a, how Texas is with football? Texas is just one of them football states, man, where it's just, they just produce a bunch of, good ass football players, man. Or what's another place that's like that? Um, yeah, I can't think of anything else as an example like that. But how Texas is with the football, man, that's how Memphis is with the pimping, man. Memphis just produces a whole lot of it, and it's just something about their culture. You did that's how Oakland is too. A lot of game come out that Oakland. Milwaukee's that way too. A lot of game come out that Milwaukee. You know what I mean? Portland too. A lot of game come out that Portland. It's just certain cities is just, it's just heavy in their culture. And that's how Memphis is. Oh yeah, Alabama is heavy on the football too. Yeah, definitely. Jersey a football state as well. Yeah. Right, like Philly with the boxers. Yep, Davey Lee. You right about that. How Philly is with the boxers. Or Philly is that way with the rappers too. Philly just produced rappers with bars. Like stupid bars. So yeah, it's that kind of stuff. That's how Memphis is. Big homie Clean say a lot of game come out of my mouth. For sure. Chicago, Detroit. Yeah, man. Portland, seriously? Hey, ebooks, man. See, a lot of people, especially if you ain't from the West Coast, don't really know about Portland, man. But it's a lot of legendary game come out of that Portland, man. For real. Official legendary game out of that Portland, man. Jody Killer, good looking with the $5 holla. As a man, how do you stay unemotional if an unprecedented situation happens like your girl cheating? Like I say, the pimping is just different for us because how, like, in the square world, how cheating is, that's like how getting out of pocket is for the pimping. Now, in our world, and this really ain't the best thing the best outlook for a square to have, but it can be used for inspiration, to alter it to your situation. You don't want it to be just like the pimping for a square, but so getting out of pocket, right? That's how we see, the same way that the square sees a girl cheating is how we see getting out of pocket, and a chick might be breaking herself to the next pimp, right? Now me, and there's squares out there that's like this too. You dig? Me myself, if I had a chick that was out of pocket and she done gave a trap to the next man, I'm gonna take her to that man. You dig? Because it's obvious that she don't want to be with me no more, and that's perfectly fine. And you got square dudes that's like that too. But in the square world, it might be a little different. Because the chick, she might still be attached to you in some kind of way. She might be comfortable with you, but and then too, like this what you gotta understand too, right? Something that applies to squares that don't apply to the pimping and don't apply to the game. If a chick cheat on you, right, you have to assess the situation a certain type of way because, certain people are worth staying down for. right? And, you know, you got to weigh things out. Like if she's cheating on you, if it's just a sexual thing, it's like, okay, she went outside of what we got going on to get some pleasure from somebody. But, you know, y'all might have businesses together that you run. You might have, you both, you know, have established good credit together. You might own property together. You know, you might have a household dynamic together where y'all raising kids together. You know, there's so many things that factor into certain relationships, right? And if you have all of those things and you dug in and it's not the type of situation where she don't want to be with you anymore, she just, you know, found pleasure outside of what y'all got going on. Of course, it might be uncomfortable, it might be painful, or whatever the case may be, but you got to really ask yourself, is it worth staying down for? Now, of course, you don't want to be nobody's fool, right? But, you know, it's like fingerprints, man. Every situation is different because everybody involved is different. So, you know, you just got to weigh out the pros and cons and determine, you know, what's the best solution to the problem. But just because somebody cheats, that alone ain't always a reason to throw somebody away. You know? Because I know people that done cheated on each other, that been together 30, 40, 50 years. Right? And, you know, they still happy together. They was able to get through that. But if they would have threw each other away because of that, you know, they might have missed out on a whole lot in life. So. Big homie Clean Say Freeze, I need you to go live at better times, P. You always go when it's prime time action on this East Coast. Yeah, you know, I've been going live. Well, you know, this live been going on for 2 hours though. You know what I mean? So when I go live, usually it's like 9 o'clock on the East Coast. So that's a little before prime time, but I know it's prime time over there right now, but, you know, we're going to be wrapping this thing up in a minute anyway, but yeah, we going to you just got to tune in when it first gets started, you dig? Ebooks say, I thought Portland was like the liberal version of Huntsville, Alabama, all snow, square snow at that. Ebooks, yeah, of course, you know, that's the that is the majority in Portland. You know, Portland has never been a majority black city, but Portland historically has always had a black community there. Now, of course, nowadays, because of gentrification, the black community ain't as big and strong as it used to be in Portland, but historically, Portland has always had a black community there and therefore a black culture. And within the black culture in Portland, you know, it's a lot of pimping going on, right? And a lot of them Portland pimps, you know, have taken a lot of white men's daughters, man, and turned them into, champions. Then turned them from trampions to champions out there, you dig? So, yeah, shout out to Portland. Shout out to all the real representatives out of that Portland, man. And, yeah, it's definitely a whole lot of it coming out of Portland. And because it's so heavy in the culture there, you know, a lot of the females there, you know, because it's so heavy in the culture, they be accustomed to it. So a lot of them be open to it, man, for sure. Freeze, how can an introvert come out of their shell? You got to put things in perspective, man. You know, a lot of introverts, of course, are, you know, uncomfortable being outside and, you know, large groups of people. Some introverts get anxiety when they be around a lot of people at one time and things like that. But like I said, you got to put things in perspective. And when you put things in perspective, you understand that it's nothing to fear. It's like going through a haunted house when you a kid, right? You know, because you don't understand what's happening in the haunted house. You don't know what to look for. You know, you might be scared as hell to go through the haunted house, but then you finally go through it. And once you go through it one time, the next time you go through it, it ain't going to be so scary. Then, you know, after that, you might just go through it because you get a kick out of it, or because you might find it funny, or whatever the case may be. And it's kind of like it's kind of the same thing for an introvert, you know, coming out of that shell, that big bad wolf, so to speak, that you're so afraid of. Once you face it, you find out that there's nothing to be afraid of. You know, it's nothing to be afraid of. So putting things in perspective and then going outside, just saying, fuck it. No matter how I feel, no matter how uncomfortable it makes me, I'm about to go outside. Then once you get comfortable going outside, you know, just start, making small talk with people. You know, you got to exercise though. But you'll never come out of that shell if you don't build up the nerve to step outside and just, you know, no matter how you feel, no matter what's going on in your head, just step out there. Turf Cars and Classics say Portland is the strip club capital of the West Coast. Turf Cars and Classics, you're right about that. But not only is Portland the strip club capital of the West Coast, Portland is the strip club capital of the world. There is no city on planet Earth that has more strip clubs per capita than Portland, Oregon. That is a fact. They are the strip club capital of the world, Craig. Of the world, Craig. Low Joe, good looking with the $5 holler. Please upload when a man's DI is alive, he's brain dead. Kevin Hart and the Kendall's heroines video on to Patreon. For sure. For sure. Now that you didn't mention it, I'm on it. I got you. Uncle Tom TV, good looking with the $5 holler. Does a P lose his credibility if he ends up on child support? Nah. Hell nah. I got a whole bunch of partners on child support. Hell nah. That don't speak nothing about his ism or his fatherhood. You know what I mean? Because I know some great fathers that have always been there, but because the baby mama is spiteful, they put them on child support. You know, that child support don't always speak to what type of man somebody is, what type of father somebody is, and it definitely don't always speak to what type of P somebody is. You know, that don't you know, far as credibility go, that don't have nothing to do with child support. That shit don't matter in the game. You know what I mean? You know, I know my experience, man, I done seen some cats, man, who pay child support and still spend time, you know, heavily active in their kids' life, take the kids school shopping whenever they need school clothes, school supplies, you know what I mean? Always there for them, you know, getting them things on birthdays and stuff like that, and paying child support every month, and, you know, spending time with their kids on a regular basis, as much as the mother lets them, you know, still paying child support. So it's some good dads out there, man, that just get stiffed with the child support, man, and it's unfortunate. But anybody that's credible ain't gonna discredit a P because he on child support. Nah, we don't rock like that. Waterson 10, good looking with the $2 holla. I heard Montreal is big on strip clubs. I'm not sure. I haven't heard that about Montreal, but I wouldn't be surprised though. Shout out to Montreal, you dig? Ebooks say turf cars and classics more than San Diego. All the Tijuana thoughts coming to the club fresh out of the border. Yeah, man. Like I said, Portland is the strip club capital of the world, Craig. And I'm talking about per capita. There's no other city that per capita has more strip clubs than Portland. Lojo, good looking again with the $2 holla. Kanika Jenkins, what about Sin's private videos? Yeah, he still got a few private videos. And then he got some videos that just ain't on YouTube at all. That I'm gonna end up putting on Patreon for sure. If a P get a job to keep up with child support, that nigga not a P, that nigga not pimping, right, man? Ha 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 ha. Go get your CDLs. Game related. Yeah, now that's something totally different. You know what I mean? That's something totally different. If he get a job just for the sake of keeping up with the child support, yeah, I don't know how official his pen is, man. I don't know about that. That's kind of, yeah, that's kind of that's crazy. Somebody got to do that. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. Not if you're on parole. Yeah, like Clean say, it's a few situations where I can understand the pimping, getting a job. Definitely if he on parole or probation and it's required as a part of the terms of his being on paper that he got to get a job. I can understand that because, I don't expect nobody to be crazy like to the point where, they standing so hard on they pimping that they gonna risk going to jail and they still big old pimping, but they in jail and, because, yeah, man, they ain't gonna make my pimping ass get no job. Hell not, nah. I respect the man shit more than anything. And some of the greatest of pimps have got out of jail on paper and had to get a job. Some of the most legendary pimps, some of your favorite pimps have been through that. So, hey, it is what it is. Ebooks including underground clubs and dive bars that moonlight as strip clubs. I don't know about that. I'm talking about as far as like actual official strip clubs. Portland got more than anybody. What's better for a trick, the massage parlor or the strip club? Hey, man, it depends on, it really depends on, a lot of it has to do with where you are. Because different areas got different things going on. And, different areas cater to the tricking differently. So that really depends on where you are. Some places, the massage parlor might do you more justice. Other places, the strip club might do you more justice. It just depends on where you are, what part of the world you in. Just popping it from inside his cell. Yeah, Car King, ain't nobody on that. All right, man, we gonna go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. I know we've been rocking for a minute, but it's about that time for a pimp to wrap it on up. I'm gonna go ahead and put some more love in my body before we get up out of here. If you ain't wiped your feet off at the door when you came in, wipe your feet off at the door on your way out, you dig? Yes. All right, man. We're going to go ahead and wrap this thing up. I appreciate y'all for tuning in and tapping in with a pimp. As always, I appreciate all the comments, questions, jokes, feedback, all that good stuff. I appreciate you sharing this video. I appreciate you subscribing and hitting the bell when you subscribe. I appreciate you for all the super chats, cash apps, PayPals, all of that good stuff. You dig? Y'all already know who it is and what it is. Freeze is it. If you're out in traffic moving around, please do so in a safe fashion. And of course, as always, long live the incomparable Sinful to P. We out.